Got on my boots, got on my best cologne. Girl, I can't wait to see what you got on. Yeah, whatever it is, I know it's hot. Baby, your smile's gonna hit the spot. As soon as my headlights shine on you, this town ain't gonna know what to do. We're tearing it up.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today's video I'm very excited for. I've been promising you guys a surprise, and here's part one of it. I already have it in the truck. It's been well, it's been a phenomenal journey. It's pretty awesome. So without further ado, I'm just going to show you guys to it. I took the blocker plate out and I replaced it with actual performance headers, or I'm sorry, exhaust manifolds and out pipes. So instead of just simply deleting the truck and just rolling the way it is, I actually have a legitimate performance part that we're throwing on this truck. So I'm pretty excited about it. And like I said, I've got the passenger side already in. It's right here. What I wanted to do was delete this right here. When you delete your truck, your EGR sits right here, your turbo sits right here, your exhaust manifold sits right here. All the air flows right through it into your turbo. Well, when your EGR opens up, runs circulate back in there. That's why we want to delete our trucks. It circulates the air back in there. So this is why this is the Y. This is on the passenger side. When you delete your truck, you have to close this off somehow. So what I've done is I put a blocker plate in there for a while because I needed the truck. Most people will cut this, they'll weld in a plate and just keep this in there. What the problem is if you have a blocker plate right here, you're gonna, over time, this bellow is gonna get weak. It's not made to have pressure air on it all the time. So over time, it's gonna crack. Boom, you got a boost leak. Now you got to tow your truck somewhere and replace this whole thing. So that's what I did. I replaced it with ProFab. This is the driver's side one. I just want the engine balanced on both sides. So this is the driver's side one. As you can see, this is how it's gonna look. I'm pretty excited for it, guys. I really am. Here's the exhaust manifold. I mean, this is some heavy duty stuff. As you can see from the factory one, it's just gonna flow a whole lot better. They got 90-degree bends on this thing. And on the driver's side, the exhaust manifold itself bellows right here. So we're gonna have to get that out of there. We're gonna balance the engine. We're gonna have some actual legitimate performance stuff on this. So I'm thankful that you guys are all watching these videos. I'm hoping that they're really helping you out. I can't thank all my subscribers enough. We're really close to 100, which is really awesome. So if you're stopping by, don't forget to subscribe because I got a lot of stuff coming through. We're gonna get this truck really nice and pretty. It's already performing phenomenal. I am very happy with deleting it. So without further ado, I'm going to show you guys how to throw this all in there. And once we got that in there, we're going to put a new probe in on the passenger side. I already have one on the driver's side that came with my truck. I don't know who had it before me, but they put one in on the driver's side. But this is an expandable accessory. So if I want to get more probes or sensors for my truck, just boom, click them right in there. I already have one wire ran to my CTS, and I can just add a bunch of accessory probes or sensors. So I'm going to show you guys how to throw this in as well. This is going to go on my passenger side. One thing before I forget, it did cost me a little bit more, but I went and got both of my exhaust manifolds and my pipes. I got them ceramic coated. Reason for that being, if you can contain all of the exhaust side heat, if you can contain that in your pipe, it's going to flow a whole lot better. So I paid the extra money. I threw it in there, and that way I didn't have to exhaust rat or heat rat them. I would like to do that in the future and do both. However, that's a lot of work. I'm not going to do it right now. So we'll maybe do that next year, maybe the following year. We'll see how it goes. Maybe when I get a bigger turbo, I might have to get bigger out pipes. We'll see how it goes. Either way, I'll throw all the links in the description of everything that I use, parts, where I got them. I want to give a huge shout out to Hunter at Injected Motorsports, because that's where I got the performance stuff, the ProFab stuff. And I want to give also a huge shout out to ProFab, because this is some seriously quality stuff. And like I said, I've got the passenger side already in my truck. I've been rocking it out for about a month now, and it's phenomenal. I haven't had one boost leak. The turbo spools a whole lot faster, and this truck just feels mean. So without further ado, let's climb in over on the passenger side, and I'll show you what we're doing. All right, now that the truck's warmed up, I already took the inner fender out. It's pretty simple. There's just a couple bolts right here you take out. There's a 13 millimeter down for the mud flap, and then there's a bunch of the black difficult little plastic fasteners to pull out. I just pull them out with a screwdriver. So we're going to be taking this out right here, and we're going to take this up pipe and replace that. In order to do that, first off, we're going to take out this bolt right here. Right here. That's for your down pipe. We'll loosen that up top as well, right off the turbo. We'll have to take that whole down pipe off. That's pretty simple. I'll show you how to do that. I have a custom-made screw because mine broke last time I took my down pipe off, so I'll take that out. I believe that is a 13 millimeter if you didn't break it, but like I said, I broke mine, so I'm not really sure what it is. And then it's just a band clamp up top. I'll show you where that is too. So we'll get those taken off. All right, now that that bolt's out, we're going to disconnect this right here. That is a 7/16, so I'll use a ratchet for part of it, and then I'll put it on my impact and drill out the rest of the way, and then we can disconnect the exhaust itself. Then we'll go up top to the turbo and we'll disconnect the downpipe from there. Alright, now next we're going to take out the top part of the downpipe. That is right there. That turbo's still warm. That is a 7/16. Just take that band clamp off. I'm just going to make it really loose now. Once we pry that pry bar or the downpipe off, we'll be able to just grab that band clamp. We'll put it off to the side, and we should be able to pull the downpipe off from the bottom of the truck out towards the exhaust. So I'm going to get that done real quick. Alright, now before I forget, you're going to want to loosen up the trans dipstick. There's a bolt right there. And then there's one over there on the other side, kind of top. You can just kind of see the screw where it goes in. I only had one in my truck. I haven't replaced the other one yet. So that's a 13 millimeter. You want to get that out of the way. You can either remove the whole dipstick itself, or you could just move it to the side, which is what I did a couple years ago when I replaced this this downpipe. So I'll go ahead and remove that. Move it out of the way. We should be able to get this downpipe out now. Just a side note, guys, I replaced this a while back ago, probably maybe 2 years ago. It was the first mine I ever did. My turbo seemed to spool a hair much more. It wasn't very much, nothing noticeable if you didn't drive the truck every day. Got it from MBRP on Black Friday, super cheap. It was like half off. Here's the factory one. So you can see it's pinched. It's not very efficient at all. So just another option for you guys. Alright, next we're going to take the heat shield off. There are 4 bolts, 1 and 2, 3, and then 4 is this one right here. Those are all 10 millimeter. I tried getting them out, and I have broken every single one of them. So what I'm going to have to actually do is I'm going to have to cut this one on the other side, because this one is just spinning. So I'm going to have to cut that. I don't need the heat shield anymore, since how the new ones are ceramic coated. So we'll take this whole heat shield off, and then we'll move on. Alright, next we're going to take the up pipe bolts off. These ones are right here. There's one here, and then about one right here on the other side of that pipe. Those take a 12 millimeter 12-point socket. So we'll loosen those up. I just sprayed them with PB Blast again, so we'll spray all these bolts as well, so we can hopefully go through. If you guys are wondering what this is my one of the pipes for my PVC reroute. It's just 5/8 heater hose. I ran that all the way down about halfway through my truck. So, all right. So we'll try to get those out. All right, guys. So I broke them all loose right here. This is how I got these ones. This is the back one. This one is pretty self-explanatory. I was able to get it here, and same with here. This is actually just a 1/2-inch drive ratcheting breaker bar. I think it's 18 inches long. And then this is actually the only 12 point I have is 3/8 drive. So hopefully that's going to work for everything. Either way, I'll back all those out real quick, and then we'll go up to the top side and we'll unbolt those as well. And then those ones deemed to be fairly difficult. I wasn't able to spray as much PB Blast on them as these ones, but either way, we'll be able to fight through it. So just be patient with them. Another good trick is to take a hammer and just pound on the head in. That'll also help break loose everything real quick. Just a couple little tricks you can do. If you be patient with rusty or stuff that's been heated and cooled a lot like this truck has, patience is the best thing you're going to be able to have. So just go slow, constant pressure. Should be able to break loose. All three of those broke loose, so we'll back them out real quick, and we'll move on to the top side. Here's my up pipe bolts. You see all this rust right here? This happens when metal heats and cools. It just oxidizes itself. So that's why they're actually really difficult to get out, because that doesn't allow any lubrication getting them out. So just as a heads up, this one I ended up taking out when I was doing when I was doing a downpipe. I just wanted to see how difficult they were. It was the one right out in front. So I did put anti-seize on this one, and that one was much easier to get out than these two. So we will always put anti-seize, or I will always put anti-seize back on these bolts before I throw them in. So, all right, on to the top side. For the top side, what I'm going to end up doing is I'm going to take this intake pipe off, and I'm going to take the intake horn off, so I got a little bit more room for myself. Then I'll be able to get rid of my makeshift up pipe blocker plate, which I'll show you guys how I did when I get that out of the truck. It was kind of a loose deal. I didn't buy one. So either way, and then the other half of the up pipe bolts are right there. So we're going to be doing the ones on the left. So we'll douse those with PB Blast real quick right before we move on. I'll spray them right now, and then I'll get all this stuff out of here. These just require a flathead screwdriver in each one. They'll come right out. So we'll do that real quick while I spray that with PB Blast, and then we'll take off the blocker plate, and we'll move on. So I'll probably get a lot of crap for this, but it is what it is. So I ended up cutting my EGR cooler, and then I mounted it back in there, cross-threaded that, so there was no going back on that one. And then I put an 1/8 inch steel galvanized plate in between there, and the gasket on the other side where the up pipe goes. So that's how I did my blocker plate, and I've had no issues with it for about 3 to 4 months. So very happy with that. Either way, we're gonna take it out because it's a ticking time bomb, and move on. I did spray those other bolts with PB Blast, so we'll let them sit for a minute. We'll take that off. We'll go in there and take lunch, and we'll come right back out and take those other up pipe bolts out. So these bolts are coming out pretty easy. However, they've been kind of difficult to get to. So this is what I did. I had my wife hold on to my 24-inch breaker bar, and we fed it all the way up there. And then I got up to the top of the engine bay, seated onto the bolt, and then came down here and broke them loose. And then I have a smaller ratchet, this one right here. I've got a smaller ratchet that I may also been able to get in there and finish the job once it's complete. So we'll get that last bolt out there. That one is a little bit more difficult for everything to get in there. Plus it's starting to rain, so I'm not sure how much longer I'll be able to work on this today. But either way, those bolts all came out pretty easy. They're all broke loose. I just have to bail them all out. So other than that, we should be able to pull that downpipe out. We'll be able to pull the exhaust manifold out, and get the new stuff in. Alright, now that that's out, onto the manifold. We got one bolt down there, got one there, one on the other side, one right there, one over there on the other side, and another stud there, and a bolt there. So we got 6 bolts and 2 studs. We're going to pull right out. Things should come right out. If it's anything like the up height, these bolts will be in there pretty tight. I was able to get all the up height bolts out, all 6 of them, without breaking one, so I'm really happy about that. So heard a lot of horror stories, so just be patient. I'll hit every one of those with a hammer, like I said, with my trick, and I've already sprayed the crap out of them with PB Blast, so I am hopeful that they will come right out fairly easy. So those bolts are a 14 millimeter, same with the studs. Alright, so I got them all cracked loose. This bottom bolt seemed to be the hardest, and I'm not sure if it's simply just because of lack of area or not. Either way, as you can see what I did, not the most safest way in the world, using 2 wrenches together. Either way, I just cracked it loose. So the other ones, I used this setup. It is an 18-inch breaker bar, swivel head, and it's a ratchet. And I was able to wiggle it in. This one I went through here. All the other ones, I was able to turn it through this way. This bolt and the bolt right underneath it, I went right next to the exhaust. The other 2 were just able to pop out, the other 4 were able to pop out just like that, and on each side. So they're all loose. Time to pull this thing out. Alright, here's the old stuff and the new stuff. This looks like it's going to flow a whole lot better than that old one. That flat edges, just designed to come right off the press. And here's the LB7 style up pipe. It's going to flow a whole lot better than this thing. We got new gaskets. I bought them from GM. Here's my ARP up pipe bolts, and there's ARP bolts for the manifolds, and then we got new manifold gaskets as well. So I'm gonna throw all this stuff in, and I can't give it a go. I am gonna put anti-seize on those bolts. I'm gonna use copper anti-seize. That's good for up to 1,000 degrees Celsius, so we shouldn't have any issues if I ever have to pull them out of the truck or not. They should be able to come out fairly easy. I only had one bolt that gave me an issue, and I think that was just simply where it was located. I couldn't get a good grip on it. Here's my makeshift blocker plate. I cut the EGR tube off. I put the gasket on the up pipe itself, and then I made, like I said, 1/8-inch steel. Just cut that out, threw that on there, and then I mounted it right here. So, never had any issues with doing that. Had it on there for a couple months. People normally have issues right here. This thing will crack. So, I never had that issue. I'm just going to prevent it myself. So, I'm going to throw all this stuff in the truck. We'll fire it up and give you guys a play-by for it. Alright guys, she is all in there. Everything nice and tight. I actually installed the EGT probe just so I could take it out for a test drive, make sure everything is all tight and everything. We had no leaks, so couldn't smell anything underneath here. Things like it's going pretty good. Best way that I put that up pipe in is that I tightened all of the exhaust manifold bolts, just hand tightened and backed them out probably about 1 thread. And then these bolts right here, I had them about 1 or 2 threads in total. And then I put all 3 of the turbo pedestal bolts in, or I'm sorry, the bolts going into the turbo pedestal. Wrenched those down all the way down to hand tight. Then I tightened these boys, and then I tightened these ones up as tight as I could. And then I tightened the turbo ones up as tight as I could, and then this one's as tight as I could as well. Downpipes in, everything seems to go pretty good. So I'll show you how to throw that EGT probe in. It's pretty easy. So I'll show you that here real quick. Alright, here's everything for the probe. This is the actual probe. It goes right into your exhaust manifold. And then this dangles out. From there you'll plug this in to right here. And that'll run all the way right up towards, probably towards your firewall in the engine bay. And then this one, you'll slide through your firewall. This will get connected over here. And then this will connect to the back of your CTS monitor. And this is for a cap the other side, so we don't have bare wires on each side. This is actually an expansion pack, so I could connect more CTS related sensors. I would just connect it to this and kind of keep expanding out. So we'll throw that in the truck here real quick, and I'll show you guys how I did that. Alright, first you want to locate the hole. ProFab pre-drilled these ones for me, so I didn't have to do anything about that, which is pretty nice. Just shove that connector right on there. It's a 9/16, and make sure this thing is tight AF. I could do a little bit more. Next, you'll slide your probe in. And then slide this down, make that tight. That is also a 9/16. Make that tight. Now I'll go run that wire real quick, and we'll connect that up in here. We'll probably just run it right up my PC3 right out. Zip tie it to that, and then I'll bring my cable down here. We should be so good to go. Alright, now that I got the cable down here, just slide it right in here just like that. You want to make sure your connector goes to the lock side. Push it right in there. I'll probably zip tie these wires right here, make it nice and clean. We'll zip tie these ones up there too, so we can keep moving on. So that is the red wire, the 2-pair wire for that. I'm sorry, red and yellow wire. So I'll show you where I put that in the engine bay. Alright, so I got it ran right up that power cable. I'll cut those zip ties, but ran right across that, which is actually where my air dog is connected to. Ends right there. Next we're going to plug in this wire cable. So this end right here goes to your CTS, which I'll go through the firewall. This end right here goes to that black connector, the female side. The other side, I'll show you, I already did it, gets the plug so you can so you don't have any rust or anything like that in there. So I'll slide this through the firewall real quick. I already have a probe installed on the driver's side somewhere down there, so I'm probably gonna end up pulling that one out and putting this in. So okay guys, so here's the one end of the cable that feeds into this end right here. I'll show you how to hook, I'll show you how to hook this up here in a second, but if you follow it all the way through, I'll move this here real quick, you can see that it's this wire right here. You can see that I got it going through my firewall, and let me climb into the cab real quick and I'll show you where that is. Alright, so came right through the firewall, all the way right there. We brought it all the way out, pulled it all the way through. Now we got this end right here. We'll plug that into the CTS. That goes in right here. Real self-explanatory. So you got your plug here. It only goes one way. Locking tab goes up. Just push it right in. She's all nice and connected. So I'm going to hide all these wires. I'm going to push these all the way up into my dash somewhere. Probably zip tie them out of the way so I don't kick them. Well, let's meet you back underneath the hood, and I'll show you how to put that other connector in. Okay guys, so let's show you how to do this here real quick. So you see you got the 2 prongs right here on this side, right here and right here. Now they're going to line up with the 2 prongs here and here. But you also, the spin thing has 2 tabs on it, and they got to go on either side of this. So it's, like I said, it's a little difficult to do, but it's actually a really good system, because once you get it in, spin this, it's a really good system, because man, it seems really waterproof. So I'll hang this up right here, zip tie that, we'll climb back into the cab, and I'll show you guys where to find this thing. Okay guys, so now that we got the truck on and running, and the CTS came back up, so what you're going to do is, this is where I want it, and since I already had one in there, it's actually already preloaded for me, so you'll just click on it, hit select new PID, and then what you're going to look for is the EAS EGT. That's your probe. I mean, you got all different types of options if you want. You can scroll through them all and put whatever you want there. But when you install the actual probe, you're going to look for the EGT thing. And then you hit your exit. And then it'll be back up right here. So if we just step on the gas a little bit, you can see our probe is working. It went up, and now we're going back to idle, so the internal temp is actually going down. So probe's working, but I already knew that when I took it out for the test drive, because I just wanted to make sure everything was all working fine. But either way, I like that. I'm actually going to monitor these EGTs, because I still have the factory driver side in for the time being, and that's where the original probe was. So I'm going to monitor it and see if either one was running hotter or cooler. I want to say the passenger side is going to be hotter, and that's only because I have them ceramic coated, so it should hold the air in there. But I'm going to see. I'm going to monitor them, and I think it'll be kind of interesting to see before I actually change out the driver's side. So other than that, we're all set. So guys, this wraps up this video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you guys enjoyed the little surprise. I know I've been holding on to it for a while, and I haven't mean to, but you know, either way, I do like putting actual performance parts on it instead of both, you know, just deleting you know, the emissions part of it, which makes it run a whole lot better, don't get me wrong. But throwing something actual, like legitimate performance on there is actually it is a good feeling, I think, in my opinion, especially with the goals for the truck that I have. At this next intersection, I'm gonna throw it down full throttle. I just went to the store and went to the gas station, went to the car wash. So this truck's been running for a minute. We're up to operating temperature on the trans and on the engine. So we're gonna see how these EGTs, we're gonna see how they are. So bear with me for 1 second here. I don't think the temperatures change at all, to be completely honest with you. I usually hit about 1200 degrees when I put it right down to the floor. So it's actually kind of funny. There's a car right behind me, and I just pinned it right down to the floor, and I just dusted him with coal. So I apologize if you're watching this and you're the guy behind me. Either way, it sounded pretty sweet. And like I said, the EGTs were about the same, but we're gonna keep monitoring it just to make sure. You know, they shouldn't be too much different. So, all right, guys. Other than that, I'm gonna get out of here. So, if you're stopping by for the first time, make sure you hit that subscribe button. I got a lot of good stuff coming down. My plans for the truck are to add the other side of the exhaust manifold, because I want this thing to have some serious power. I also would like to make it a show truck, but that's gonna be a while down the road, and little bits and pieces. There's a lot of rust on this truck, so make sure you hit that subscribe button. If you're a returner, make sure you give this video a like. I like to see people coming back and you know, be happy with what I'm putting out there for you guys, especially if I got some good information for you. And then, as always, you can always hit me up on Instagram at Extraordinary Duramax. I'm always on there posting pictures, some, you know, short clips, stuff like that. Or if you just want to chat, you know, I'm always there as well. So other than that, guys, I'm gonna get out of here. Thanks for watching.